The forest felt alive that night, though not in any way I wanted. The air was thick, the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves pressing in on me. My flashlight cast a weak beam ahead, illuminating little more than tangled roots and the faint trail I'd foolishly decided to follow. I'd told myself it was an adventure, a late-night walk to clear my mind. But now, surrounded by the towering pines and the suffocating darkness, I wasn't so sure. The forest was too quiet, as if even the animals had decided to steer clear of this place. Then I heard it, a low, deliberate sound, like a branch snapping underfoot. I stopped dead, the flashlight trembling in my hand. My breath felt too loud in the silence. "Hello," I called, my voice cracking. Nothing. I turned slowly, my light sweeping across the trees. Their twisted branches loomed like skeletal hands reaching for me. The sound came again, closer this time. Another snap, followed by the faint rustle of leaves. I tried to laugh, but it came out hollow. "Probably just an animal," I muttered, more for my own reassurance than anything else. But deep down, I didn't believe that. The trail grew narrower, the trees closing in like they were trying to swallow me. The flashlight flickered, the bulb casting erratic shadows that played tricks on my eyes. I could swear I saw movement, quick, darting shapes in the corner of my vision. But every time I turned, there was nothing there. The snap of another branch made me whirl around. My light caught something this time, a flash of pale movement among the trees. It was too quick to make out. A person? An animal? I couldn't tell. "Who's there?" I shouted, my voice echoing back at me. The forest answered with silence. I kept walking, faster now, my pulse racing. I didn't know where the trail led, but anywhere was better than here. The flashlight flickered again, threatening to die entirely. I slapped it and the beam steadied, for a moment. Then I saw it. A figure stood on the trail ahead, half shrouded in shadow. It was tall, unnaturally so, its limbs too long and angular. Its head was cocked at a sharp angle, as if it were studying me. I froze. My flashlight shook, the beam unsteady as it wavered over the figure. Its face, or what should have been a face, was featureless, just smooth, pale skin stretched taut over a skull-like shape. My stomach churned as it began to move, its steps slow and deliberate, its limbs bending in ways that made me want to scream. "Stay back!" I yelled, stumbling backward. It didn't stop. Panic surged through me and I turned and ran, crashing through the underbrush, the branches clawing at my arms and face. My breath came in ragged gasps, but I didn't dare stop. The sound of snapping twigs followed me, relentless, growing louder with every step. I glanced back, and my heart nearly stopped. The figure was closer now, moving impossibly fast without ever seeming to run. Its limbs twisted and contorted as it glided through the trees. I tripped, falling hard onto the cold, damp ground. My flashlight skittered out of my hand, its beam flickering wildly. I scrambled to grab it, but the light sputtered and died, leaving me in utter darkness. The forest seemed to close in around me, the air thick and suffocating. I could hear it now, breathing, deep and ragged, somewhere close. "Leave me alone!" I screamed, my voice breaking. The breathing stopped. For a moment, there was only silence, and I dared to hope it was gone. Then a whisper, soft, like leaves rustling in the wind, but clear enough to chill me to my core. "You shouldn't have come here." I felt it before I saw it, a cold, bone-thin hand brushing against my shoulder. I spun around, but there was nothing there, just the trees, their shadows twisting like living things. I bolted again, blind and desperate, the branches slashing at me as I ran. The forest seemed endless, the trail long forgotten. My lungs burned, my legs screamed, but I couldn't stop. Finally, I broke into a clearing, collapsing onto the ground. The moon hung overhead, its light weak but enough to give me hope. I turned expecting to see the figure emerge from the tree line, but it didn't. Relief washed over me, until I realized the clearing wasn't empty. There were dozens of them, figures like the one I'd seen, standing in a silent circle around the clearing, their featureless faces turned toward me. I tried to scream, but no sound came. They didn't move, but I could feel their eyes, or whatever they had, boring into me. Then, as one, they raised their hands, pointing toward the forest. I turned to look, and there it was. The first figure, standing at the edge of the clearing, its grin impossibly wide now, revealing rows of jagged teeth. "Run," it whispered, and so I did. But I know I'll never escape.